He sent me a new project, right?
That too. So,
you spun up.
spun up a new project to explore deeper into the AI coding world specifically. My thesis is like, I'm a coder, so I'm very happy with Claude Code. So I can like steer it, I can control it, I can get a lot of stuff done incredibly fast. But then I want to kind of wrap me in a box and put that as a wrapper on top and give that to Ben and make you as powerful as I am with Claude Code to actually build apps. Because
Yeah.
I think where we're stuck right now is like whatever we have in front of us is great to build websites and fairly non-complex apps. Is like that promise, like you can build an app, a public app, and you can monetize on it. That promise, there's a huge gap there still. And the biggest gap I see on the market right now is the focus on enterprises, where you're going to see a big shift. Like this is my prophecy or my thesis is like the vertical SaaS is going to die. There's not going to be an Asana in the future. It's going to be in Monday. Why do you need Monday when you can build Monday? And then people are going to say, but you can't build Monday. No, not the whole of Monday, of course, but who needs the whole feature set of Monday when I want to do this and I can do it in 15 to 20 minutes and deploy it to my team. And then I can kill the app 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I don't have to procure a new app. I don't have to go through a tedious procurement process of buying a software, going through all the gate to get it approved. And then I'm going to use 10% of that app in the end and pay like an enormous sum of subscription fees. That's ridiculous. Let's buy a subscription fee from a tool that helps me build that for the need I have today, even for myself, for example. Like I just want to build something for myself.
Yeah.
Internally. And we talked about that before, right?
That's right.
Salesforce and Workday, that's not going to go anywhere because that's horizontal. But if imagine you have like an AI agent that is connected to all those different horizontal applications internally, and then you can build apps like nobody's business. Still IT governed, still compliance, still regulated. And then you're going to see something completely different emerge. That is like different from Lovable, in my opinion. I think Lovable is doing great what they're focusing on, and I think they should continue to focus on that. And that's where they have their growth. But what I'm focusing on right now is like very different from that perspective. The experience is the same, right? The approach, natural language, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's super interesting this year. Like,
yeah. So I totally get the value proposition for what you've just said there. So to bring your ability as 30, 40 years coding, wrap it up and get that capability to an enterprise or to an individual, frankly, who has their own business. And then that is what is the magic kind of secret ingredient to building apps. Just to give you an update, since you introduced me to Lovable, that was the big thing last year. Vibe coding came out and then Lovable just got massive. I've replatformed bendrakes.com myself using Lovable, right? Now, I'm not saying it went 100%. It wasn't plain sailing. It got stuck a few times, but more than anything, what was stuck was me. So without that skill set, and I'm coming with no coding skill set, and I've replatformed my entire website, which, just to give you a flavor, it's giant videos sat behind and the API integration behind all of that. So it's quite a hefty piece of data, really. So then I got Grok. So I moved from ChatGPT to Grok just because I didn't like ChatGPT 5. No more reason than that, really. And Grok's ChatGPT 5 just seemed to change and it got slow. I was kind of then spending a lot of money on tokens with Lovable. And so I thought, let me bring the AI. So I had one AI talking to the other that was helpful to a point, but then that kind of got into a bit of a doom loop as well. So the point is, but I'm absolutely blown away with it. And then the reason I wanted to get you on is because Claude Code is just like, it's all over X, it's all over YouTube. I just wanted to get your perspective on Claude Code and why that suddenly in your developer community has just blown up, Rickard.
Hey everybody, sorry for the interruption. If you are in a sales role or sales management role, head on over to bendrakes.com. You will find all of my training content, all really great videos that I've put together for you. Also a bunch of free stuff. You can get all my free content, all my walks and talks. You'll get so much value from them. Maybe you want to talk about implementing AI in your business. Again, go to bendrakes.com, go to my AI Catalyst page, book a call with me, and let's go through it. I'm giving everybody an introductory discount of a 20% off anything that you want to buy on my platform. Just put in the code SAVE20 at checkout. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot as well on LinkedIn primarily. I left X for Twitter, whatever, for various reasons. So I didn't see it there. But it's blowing up on LinkedIn, and it's the usual clickbaits in terms of like, Claude changed my life. You can do this and that and that. But there is like a significant difference between like Lovable and Claude Code. And from my perspective is, as an engineer, right, I have a clear picture in my head in terms of, what tech stack I want to use, how I want to store data, what kind of database I want to use, what kind of models I want to use, what kind of flow, logic, and so on and so forth. And when you start with Claude Code, right, you do that in your terminal. It's called CLI. So like, it's literally like going back to the old big wireframe systems, IBM computers, it's like a green screen and you write code in the terminal. No, you not write code, you're talking to someone. And that's a blank canvas, like from the get-go. You tell exactly what you're supposed to do, and then you do it. And then what Claude Code does is basically just the tedious work I have to do in my head in terms of, okay, I have an idea. I know exactly how that code's going to look like, but it's going to take me days to write that code and the if then else and the testing and all those things I already know. And I already kind of given up before because I have ADHD, right? So because it's going to be too much work. I'm not going to do it. But if I write that sentence or plan or like chit chat back and forth with Claude Code, it's just going to do all that tedious work for me. And then I can review it, obviously, and do a lot of testing. And then me as an engineer, then I can move. It feels like I'm moving 100x faster than I ever done in my whole career. And I am creating, like, my wife is a therapist, right? And she wants to create her own website. So I said, okay, I'll do that for you. But I didn't only do that. I created a whole platform for her where she can have video meetings, AI transcribing notes that automatically fills out the form for her, and blah, 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 the whole shebangs. I built that in 8 to 10 hours with Claude Code from scratch.
Yeah. I can understand that.
And it's just amazing. And I'm just frustrated. I'm stuck at a desk at an office because I can build apps every day and see if it works, but I don't have time for it, but I could. Like the key is distribution. Like now what's happening is we're removing the obstacles and the threshold to actually build apps. And the biggest key right now for anyone is distribution.
Yeah. So when you say distribution, tell us what you mean by that, Rickard. Let's define it.
Traction, growth. Like, if anyone can build an app, then it means, okay, then instead of one app, just as an example, like one app released per year within a specific industry is not going to be in the thousands. So how do you stand out? How do you get that traction then? So that means like the domain expertise in a specific industry is going to be a killer asset, because then like a specific, very, high pain you have in a specific process, workflow, whatever you want to call it. And then you can build an app around that, and then you can find attraction. Building something today that has all the bells and whistles is not going to change anything. That's just going to be a copy of something that exists.
So you're talking about brand new innovation, rather than, and I guess what you referred to before was changing the way businesses operate as well. Is that what you mean by brand new?
Yeah, because like I call it micro-SaaS, right? Instead of Monday, which is a major, colossal SaaS, I want micro-SaaS. With AI and the capabilities we're seeing right now, it's like you have a plugin that is basically completely versatile. If you're using Shopify to build a Shopify website to sell stuff, there's a whole ecosystem of plugins to do, VAT calculations or shipping calculations. Those plugins are obviously bought for Shopify. But now when you have AI as a code pilot or a co-pilot, and you can build things on top of, as we call, the horizontal business applications you have, you can literally in a day just build a plugin to whatever you have in front of you to solve the problem I have in front of me. So that means like you can basically just build plugins on a conveyor belt within your company on top of your horizontal SaaS, and progressively kill the vertical SaaS.
And I think everybody loves that concept. I rebuilt my CRM in Lovable as well.
Mhm.
And just to give everyone all the civilians out there listening to this thinking, what the hell are they going on about? It's natural language. So it's just like if you open Lovable, and I just would encourage everybody, just open up Lovable and just tell it a useful thing that it could build for you. So for example, my daughter, she likes going to record stores to buy vinyl records, right? But her challenge in that moment is she picks out the record from the rack. It's got a price on it. Is the price right? Is she getting ripped off? Is it a good deal? And so I built her an app. Yeah, so I put that into Lovable. I said, this is the problem my daughter has. Can you build her an app, please? So she can scan with her phone the vinyl record, click send, and you tell her if the price is good or not. And Lovable.
That's an awesome use case.
Built this thing. It just built this thing in no time at all. And I was like, okay. Originally, my concept was, oh, she can like put in the name, and I said, can you of the record, whatever it might be. And I said, well, can you just add a camera button so she can just click and take a photograph? And it just went, yeah, no problem, and span it up. And so it's almost like just getting started with it, and you start realizing, okay, that barrier of me not knowing anything about coding isn't there anymore for simple, very simple applications. When you try and do something complicated, which was my website, then I was sat there in doom loops thinking, I bet bloody Rickard would have already spotted that I'm painting myself into a corner. But it all got fixed. And do you know what, Rickard? I learned a ton about your world, or a little snippet of your world on that journey. I encourage everybody listening to the podcast, just hop onto Lovable. And I think Lovable's using Claude underneath it, right? Is that how it works?
It's all over the place, right? It's
right.
using Opus 4.5 right now, but you can switch to ChatGPT. So everyone is doing that, changing the model. And this is a small rant like around the whole vibe coding industry, right? The Replit Base 44 and Lovable included is they always get incrementally better when a new model is released, like Gemini 3, Opus 4.5, ChatGPT 5, or Codex 5. And that is interesting, right? Because that means like, where's the line in terms of, are we only a wrapper or are we something different? So what I've been playing with now personally is, can I use a dumb model? Like in the Anthropic world, you have the dumb models, which is still very capable. It's called Haiku. And then you have in the middle Sonnet, and then you have the super powerful Opus. And obviously the latest model is more powerful, but also more expensive and slower. And all those older ones are dumber, but and extremely fast and extremely cheap. Like we're talking like a 10th or a 20th. So I've been experimenting. So, okay, I just give very clear instructions. Like if I hire a new person, I'm a senior architect. So I hire a completely green junior developer, and I want to tell him exactly what to do. Can I do that by giving that person extremely clear directions and be very deterministic and being like, this is exactly how you should be supposed to do it, use these exact components and tech stacks? Will I get Opus 4.5 output? And I did. So I'm using dumb models with Opus 4.5 output, which means it's like 20x faster and cost me a 10th. And that means, okay, how are you treating this model? Are you just hoping for the next generation and then you automatically get better? What I'm talking about is like, what's the moat, right? What's the difference then between Replit and Lovable? It's obviously UI, UX experience. I mean, Replit and Lovable is incredibly different in terms of how you experience them. I think Lovable is way better for, with your skill set. Like it's more accessible, pleasant experience. Replit is more on my side. Like it's very geeky. There's tons of pieces I can click on and tweak. So I just think it's interesting to see where that goes. Like, and what happens if Anthropic decides to build a lovable UI using Claude Code?
Yes,
Then I don't think they want to, because like they're making a ton of money on Lovable, right? Thanks to you, who's paying Lovable and they're paying Anthropic. So there's an ecosystem that is in play that you cannot really challenge right now, or not. I don't know.
Yeah, and we're bouncing around a number of points, and let's talk about the costs. I'll give you my kind of, again, from the civilian perspective, starting from scratch. I started at $0 building on Lovable, and it was like, hey, come on, yeah, it's fine. There was no like, you got to sign up to a monthly fee at that point. It demonstrates its value, and then you go, this is cool, but you're using tokens. Every time you're keying in your prompts, and my prompts are going to be very basic because I don't know what I'm doing. Your prompts would be you'd be a much more efficient user of those tokens. And at some point it says, hey,
not necessarily.
Okay.
I have to say, because since I have with Claude Code, I have full control, right? I can steer it. But in Lovable, since they're using a model, they have their instructions set in between, which is for me as a developer a obstacle, because then they are changing my request in a sense before it hits the model.
Got it. And Replit. The first time you came on the podcast, you were introducing Replit, and I went on to Replit. I just didn't find it. It wasn't, the user experience wasn't for me as a civilian, but Lovable was, and that's probably the difference, right? That you're just explaining. But anyway, the point is, you soon start paying for the token usage, and I think where I'm at now with Lovable is about $200 a month. It's charging me because I've been using a lot of tokens, but now my project's kind of done. My token usage is going to drop down, so I haven't really looked into it. But I tell you what I have been able to do, to your point, is I've been able to cancel my CRM license with Pipedrive. And Pipedrive was costing me, a decent amount of money every month. And I just said to Lovable, hey, I'm not using a bunch of the Pipedrive functionality. Could you build me a CRM? And it said, yeah. So I sent it some screenshots of Pipedrive. I dropped the screenshots into the chat window of Lovable. Yeah. And it said, yeah, I'll build you a CRM, no problem. And so,
but it builds you Ben's CRM.
And this is like,
and this is the key, right? Because when you get the pushback from the Clutch Your Pearls side of the community, it's like, you can't build a CRM. No, you can't build Pipedrive probably with all the things they have. But do Ben need all what Pipedrive have been building? Because they want to be the one for all, right? So they have to build all these different weird things. So it fits Ben, it fits Rickard, it fits XYZ. But in your reality, when you realize it now, when you are actually educated, you're on the other side, right? The first one we talked, you were too scared of thinking like, I cannot code, like you couldn't even fathom like the thought, like you can actually just use language and something comes out on the other end, and then realize like, I don't need coding. I think you even have the argument, I would never cancel my service XYZ. And you ended up doing exactly that.
Yeah.
Because now you're confident.
Yeah.
The problem is like, for you, it's like when the shit hits the fan, like something stops working, you have nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
That's the risk you're taking. Okay, so what's the value prop then? It's not the feature, so it's the stability, right? It's like support. It's stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of never know when you're going to get boxed in, and I guess it's very important for organizations to have an institutional memory. And so if you've got a massive deployment of Salesforce.com, I just can't see how you're going to be able to move away from that platform. But like you said, you might build on top of it. But for a smaller enterprise such as myself, I don't have those constraints around compliance and stuff like that. So it's relatively straightforward for me to do that. But so I've cancelled my subscription, and now I've started looking at all my other monthly license costs.
But
And
also
I will
services, I guess, right? Because you will procure kind of a substantial amount of services from people around you, professional services.
Yeah, that's right. So I've been able to, like, if you wanted to look at how much it would have cost to rebuild my transactional website with video content that Lovable, it's the size of it, Lovable won't even host it. That's the size of the videos that are required for sales training. And previously you had to go to a Thinkific or one of those big training platforms. Then you're boxed into their way of doing stuff, right? Which is not bad, but again, it gets expensive and you're not using a bunch of their functionality, right?
Right.
So I've avoided that cost. I've probably avoided $20,000 to $30,000 worth of fees on web design to build up this website. Now, that's not to say that if I got a really good web designer involved, they would be able to get a better outcome than I can, right? And I think that's where I wanted to pivot our conversation to, Rickard. So I'm on LinkedIn. Funnily enough, I try and spend a bit more time on X these days. I don't have any following at all, but just follow the AI people on X because there seems to be lots of posts around those groups as well as all the nonsense. So I learn a lot from that platform. But you do see people saying, hey, developers saying, hey, I've just spent the last 10 years learning how to be the best developer I can possibly be. And they're a bit head in hand. So what's your view of that, Rickard? You seem to have more of a positive view of these developments, but it must be hard. It must be hard when you spent all these years perfecting these skills, right?
Yeah. You can put them in two categories. Like, I'm blessed in that sense because, I'm an engineer, right? I've been programming since I was 12 years old. I sold my first, B2B software. I was 15 years old. I built 5 companies around B2B software. But I left the professional engineering developing world 15 years ago-ish, right? Still have a great understanding of it. I've been following it, but been doing it on the sideline. So what I've been seeing, for example, is a lot of new tech coming up, like React and Vue and Angular and stuff like that, and different databases. All of a sudden, it's NoSQL and it's like document databases, cool stuff. And sometimes I'm just sitting there looking at like, what the hell is this? I would never use this. I don't get it. But people, and it's like it's a herd mentality. Like, now everything's so cool, React. Now everyone should do TypeScript. Now everyone should do this and that. So these developers, like you said, like they invest a lot of their persona and like learning these different technologies to perfection, maybe not questioning all the time is like, is this good? And things evolve. So I had like the opportunity and the blessing to like step aside and just see it from the side. So now when I step in again, I have a completely different view of this because like, this is going to maybe sound too technical, right? But if you build anything React, for example, it's like when you want to change something from green to red, you don't see it when Lovable does it. But there's a lot of dependencies you have to look at just to change that little color from red to green, for example. And there's this guy, I forgot his name, but there's a trend now that is like going from complexity to simplicity. And they call it the locality of behavior, LOB. And that is like, if I look at one line of code as a programmer, I need to be able to understand exactly what's going on by just looking at that code. But if you're using React, Angular, Vue, or whatever, you have to go through 8 different files to kind of maybe understand what's happening just for that simplicity. So since I never went down those trenches and like being like a spokesperson for React and guard it and defend it, I don't give a crap about like whatever technology is the coolest. Have no interest. I just want it to work. So that's why I actually could create something with Haiku instead of Opus, because I threw simple code at it, still powerful, and get better outcome. I'm not trying to replicate the senior developer. So I get like, if you invested a lot of time in that, and I would say like I would say it's a trend. It should be LOB, locality or behavior. It's like, should be a trend because that fits. AI, even Claude Code, in a sense, is still a junior developer. It's not a senior architect. It's a senior architect because I tell it to do the right things.
Yeah.
If I let it go rogue, it will create something, whatever it's going to create, either complex or not. Like, but I set up guardrails and whatnot. So I understand why some people are thinking that, but I think they're more thinking that because of most people that don't understand it think they're going to get replaced.
Yes.
And like that
Yes.
their trade is not valued anymore because you're just going to be replaced by AI. It's not going to happen. So either you lean into it or you don't. Like either you clutch your pearls and it's like, this is bad, or you say, this is great. I can be, as I already told about myself, I feel 100x faster.
Yeah.
I feel like a Superman. I unleashed my superpowers with AI. Like I can just like any idea how my brain I can convert, because I know I can do that anyways, but I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
Like I can code, if I can sit down and code line by line today if I want to, but I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
But that is just now unlocked, just like a switch.
Yeah, it's a really positive way of looking at things, isn't it? And this whole thing like AI is going to take everyone's job roles. I think we've now seen enough to know that, yeah, okay, all right, 10, 20 years down the line, maybe, but it's not just going to
No,
happen.
it's going to be faster than that. I'm sorry to say.
Go on, tell me your prediction.
No, like if you, and the first, like if you look at the industry era, like, you know, when machine came around, like before you had people actually going through the field to chop down whatever you call it in English, and then that was replaced, like 20 people were replaced with one machine to do all the farming work, right?
All the agriculture,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the first industry that's going to be, you know, under the chopping block is companies like Capgemini, Accenture, and whatnot. That has all these different consultants. If you have like the business management layer, you have the project managed layer, and then you have all the developers underneath. That's going to be cut by 80%, no doubt. That's going to be if they have 10,000 developers, 8,000 of them they're going to go,
right,
because the customer is going to use AI more. And then sometimes they don't have time, so they're going to use, obviously, Accenture to do that. But then they don't need 8,000 people to do that. They're going to need maybe 2,000 instead of 8,000. And that's going to happen within the next 12 to 16 to 18 months. Because if they don't do it early enough, they're going to have a cash flow issue.
Yeah. That's the first time I've actually heard someone be able to clearly articulate in a way that makes sense that these job roles are going to. They're not going to go all together. There's going to be far fewer of them, is what I think you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's going to replace a lot of people. As I said, like you just have to then redefine your skill set.
Yeah.
With the industry shift, like 20 people were doing agriculture, replaced with one machine. Those other, and operated by one person, right? The other 19 people didn't just disappear from Earth, right? They still figure it out. So something else happened with these people. So it's the same thing here. It's not just going to vanish. It's just going to be something else. And remember, like transformative right now in the AI industry, like we're super like in the innovation phase and like high beliefs and whatnot. In the tailwind of this, there's going to be a lot of new business opportunities. It's going to come around. And whatever that might be, we'll see, right? It can be testing. It can be human in the loop. I don't know, right? But something's going to come out of that in the other end. Because also, like, if a business is more efficient thanks to AI and agents and agentic AI, that means they can do more. Something more is going to come out in the other end. They can produce more in a shorter time period. That's going to require more resources on the other end.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just going to be a balanced out.
So where a business, an enterprise customer has said, hey, I need the systems integrator. For the last 20 years, I've needed the system integrator. I need them a lot less now because I can do this myself. That has the impact on the systems integrator. But we're now growing way faster as an enterprise. So we're just stepping, but we're going, we were multinational. Now we've got ambitions to be global, but super fast. And so the job roles change and shift in away from now that company that's like the horse drawn plow. We've got the new tractor that tows the plow, so we don't need the horse drawn plow anymore, and all those people like surrounding it. We can one person, but agriculture just gets massive and industrialized. So yeah, that's a really interesting perspective.
And it's going to be painful as F in this process. It's going to be really painful.
And the problem is those analogies of like, well, you know, the Industrial Revolution, that happened over like, what was it, like 100 years? You know, this is what you just said, 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, the shift we're seeing now is nothing you've seen before. Like even business-wise, but also like in my specific industry, like, you know, we had, you know, the .com area, and that like we thought was like fast, the new economy, blah, blah, blah. That was fast. It has nothing on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, vibe coding was coined as a term in February 2025.
Yeah, well, 1 year, not even 1 year.
And here we are, less than a year away, and you built your own website in your own CRM.
Yeah, actually, I'm the case in point
Yeah,
for
exactly.
job.
And remember the
loss.
first time we had the conversation, how scared you were? Like you just tried Replit, and it's like,
well,
I don't think I can do it.
Like, yeah, I was like, this is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I can't wait to do my next thing, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Look, I've got a hard stop, but what your new project? Tell everybody about the new project, Rickard. Where do they find it? What is it? It sounds like an awesome concept. And you sent me a link. I've not even had a chance to look at the link. We set this up so fast.
No, what I'm building right now is called Gainable. And my co-founder is Claude Code. And we are in tandem building this product from the ground up. I've been doing this for the last 8 weeks on my spare time, which is even more interesting. And you can say it's a combination of Lovable plus Retool plus Structify. And then you're going to ask me, what the hell is Retool and Structify? But Lovable, we all know, it's vibe coding. Retool is no code, which is specifically designed for enterprises to build internal apps and internal tooling. But I think low code is going to be dead in the next 12 months. And then you have Structify, which is an AI-driven BI tool. So instead of like building apps, you're building BI dashboards by just talking to the different data sources you have. So imagine you marry all them together in one place, and then you build like powerful apps with all the features you need for internal tooling. So I'm not interested in building your website in any shape or form. I'm interested in empowering the operations team in any SMB or enterprise to build internal tooling and throw it away the day after.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. And I'm just screen sharing gainable.dev, which is the link that you sent me. This looks really, really interesting, Rickard. So it's all there, gainable.dev. I'll put the link in the show notes, and hook up with Rickard on LinkedIn if you've not already done that. And look, every time we speak, Rickard, everything's just moved on again, and I learned a ton from you, so eternally grateful. You've sort of, without me even asking you, you've sort of become the in-house AI outcomes podcast dev guru. And you're like, what? How did that happen? No one ever actually asked me to be that person, but you're third time on the podcast, mate. So thanks very much.
Yeah, and I'm highly opinionated, so that's good too. Yeah. Okay.
All right, awesome. Listen, I've got a bail, so let's wrap it up there.
Cheers,
have a
man.
great rest of your day, Rickard. Thank you, mate.
Same.
Cheers. Bye.
Hey, everybody. If you are in a sales role or sales management role, head on over to bendrakes.com. You will find all of my training content, all really great videos that I've put together for you. There's also a bunch of free stuff. You can get all my free content, all my walks and talks. You'll get so much value from them. Maybe you want to talk about implementing AI in your business or for your sales team. Again, go to bendrakes.com, go to my AI Catalyst page, book a call with me, and let's go through it. I'm giving everybody an introductory discount of a 20% off anything that you want to buy on my platform. Just put in the code SAVE20 at checkout.